compound inequalities. Now we need to look at our and compound equalities, right? For example, x is greater than or equal to negative 6 and x is less than or equal to 1, right? And inequalities have a tendency to graph together, right? They tend to connect to make one graph. They tend to connect to make one line. I'll show you what I mean, right? So x is greater than or equal to negative 6. So this, and it's pointing to the right. Or x is less than or equal to 1. So it's less than or equal. It tends to connect to make one little section that has your possible answers. X can only be between negative 6 and 1. It could include negative 6 and 1. It told us that. So solid to solid. This is what x could be, that little chunk of the number line. And how do we write that on our interval notation? It could be from negative 6 to 1. That's it. That's the only possible number choices. Something between negative 6 and 1. Those are the only possible answers. So you might have to rewrite and inequalities. Rewriting and inequalities. Because the solutions to an and inequality fall between two endpoints, they are frequently written in a more condensed form. You see how they have it written here? X is greater than or equal to negative 6 and x is less than or equal to 1. There's a way to write that. All right, so instead of writing x is greater than or equal to negative 6 and x is less than or equal to 1, we just write, well, I'm going to do it so you can see the visual. I want you to see the visual, right? Instead of writing it like this, we put x in the middle, right? Because it's going to be greater than or equal to negative 6, but it's going to be less than or equal to 1. So x has to be this and this. It's only the piece in the middle. So put x in the middle and then put the rules on the outside. Does that make sense? We'll do a couple of them. All right, so solve first. We need to get the x by itself in the middle. All right, so how do we do that? Let's see. We need to move if you're going to subtract 4 from here, you have to subtract 4 from here and 4 from here, right? So this is negative 2 less than or equal to x, which is less than 5. So if I subtract 4 from the middle, I have to subtract 4 from the ends too, because this is 3 different expressions. Right? And to graph that, x is greater than or equal to negative 2. And x is less than 5. So first you put either closed circle or open circle, and then you connect them. What's that look in interval notation? Well, bracket for negative 2, because it could be negative 2. It says it might be equal. And then parentheses for 5, because it doesn't include 5. There's no possibly equal there. I know it's different. It just takes practice. All right, again, we need to isolate the x. So we're going to add 13 on both sides.